let's be completely honest. Budget projectors usually feel more like disposable e-waste than a genuinely useful product. This is the Magcubic HY450 Max. It features a 1:1 throw ratio, 1100 lumens, and it supports 8K. Is it actually any better than those e-waste garbage? To find out, we're putting it through a strict 4-stage test. 1, we're gonna do a quick unboxing. We'll review the features and panel specs at a glance, but then we're gonna do a real-world setup and stress test. If all goes well, we will provide our thoughts and impressions afterwards. For those of you new to the channel, I'm Anton, a power engineer, industrial mechanic, and a Red Seal electrician. We cover all kinds of products and topics in an approachable way for the average everyday person. I'm glad you found us. Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. Now, I love my projector. I have a home theater. I use a projector for my home theater. I'm curious if a budget projector like this could replace my mid-end projector that's actually a few years old now, starting to get a little bit dated. Now, I have looked at smaller, cheaper projectors in the past, and I was very, very disappointed. They were very low spec, but they were also low priced. Now the Magcubic potentially is going to be a mid-priced, medium spec projector that might meet all of our basic requirements for a reasonable projector. I just don't want to be sitting here telling you guys to even consider e-waste if this thing is junk. So some of you may never see this video because if it's junk, I can't put out a video like that, can I? Well, to find out, we got to start with the unboxing. Wow. Now, right away, the HY450 Max avoids that cheap plastic, hollow plastic feel. There's actually some serious weight to this thing. It's a good looking package, and it is not a mini projector by any sense. So I'm already starting to get a good sense for what this is, and I think it might actually be okay. So you get the projector, you get a power cord, and you get a remote and a manual. Now, we're not gonna read the manual, but flipping this thing around to the back, this reveals a dedicated HDMI 2.0 port. Since this is HDMI 2.0, it will physically limit your current gen gaming system to a 1080p 60 Hertz signal. This port has the bandwidth to accept a 4K signal from devices like a PS5 or an Apple TV, but it will downscale the image to fit that native 1080p panel. There is no variable refresh rate, VRR, auto low latency mode, ALLM, or 4K 120 Hz support. So you may be wondering, is this a good gaming projector then? The short answer is that serious gamers don't game on a projector. For casual gamers though, you're going to be just fine with something like this. It also has a high-speed USB port for playing massive 4K movie files directly off an external hard drive. Inside, it features autofocus, automatic 4-corner keystone correction, intelligent obstacle avoidance, screen recognition, and hands-free operation, wireless mirroring for effortless smartphone connectivity, and there's also a built-in 12-watt speaker. But it also has Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.4 to connect headphones or wireless speakers if you wanted to enhance the soundstage a bit more. The operating system is Android 14, running on 2 GB of RAM with 16 GB storage. So that's plenty of room for apps and games, which we're going to check out during the setup and stress test. The LED lamp boasts an extended lifespan exceeding 50,000 hours. Now, getting the angle right is usually the hardest part of setting up a projector, but there is a smart sensor in the front here, and it does something that I've never seen in a projector at this price point. I'll show you exactly what it does when we move to the theater setup, but I want to decode the spec sheet first. First of all, 1100 ANSI lumens. ANSI is the strict industrial standard for light. This means that the bulb is intensely bright and is designed to fight off ambient room light, so not just pitch black darkness. Second, the display engine. It is utilizing a native 1080p LCD panel, which physically possesses over 2 million pixels for razor sharp text. But the real magic is the light source behind that panel. It's driven by an LED lamp rated for an incredible 50,000 hours of life. In human math, You could watch a 2-hour movie every single day for over 68 years before the bulb dies. Third, this has a 1-to-1 throw ratio. So this is a math equation of the distance versus the screen size. 1-to-1 ratio, that means the projector only needs to be about 8.5 feet away to give you a massive 100+ inch screen, or 8.5 feet. However far away it is how big the screen will be. 10 feet away, 10-foot screen. Pushing 1100 lumens of light generates a ton of heat inside a tiny little box. If the cooling fans are too loud, it would completely ruin the movie experience. So I do have a decibel meter on my phone. We're gonna check that out when we do the real world test to see if this sounds like your PlayStation 4 jet engine or if it's tolerable. Okay, to turn this, oh, there we go. We're just doing the first boot up. I don't know how to do any of these settings here, so I think it should go, look, this is the first boot up. It's doing auto keystone, it's doing auto focus. It just beeped at me to say it found some Wi-Fi. So let's connect to my Wi-Fi. Okay, so it's connecting to my Wi-Fi. I just put in my password. It says it's connected, excellent. Oh, and then I didn't even have to push a button. It just went straight in. So right off the bat, we're on the home screen here, but the thing you're gonna notice is screen's not very big. I don't know if it has an auto resize option. I just wanna find out. Just let's see what it does. Projection settings. So we'll open that up. Autofocus is on. We saw it autofocus. I think we need to make it bigger. So I'm gonna see how far back I gotta go to get it that big. Now in theory, I think my screen's 120 inch, so I should go about 10 feet back to get this thing full size. So I'm gonna move it back. We'll see what happens. Now, I didn't catch this in time. Let me try turning it off and back on again and just see if it remembers the settings, because once I put it back there, it actually automatically focused and resized to fit my whole screen. So I just want to see what it does when it restarts. My light is on right now and I can see quite clearly. Now, obviously for better performance, I would turn the lights off just to have it a little bit nicer to look at, but it does remember it. You can see, oh, there it goes. So it's auto focusing now. Perfect. Now you just saw it resized. Now the only thing it's not doing, I do have the intelligent obstacle avoidance. Now my speaker over here is kind of in the way, so it's being blocked. So now I can go back to this. Now in theory, I can just connect my Netflix. I want to install the Netflix app. Wow, it's going pretty fast. Okay, so we're gonna launch Netflix. There we go. We've got volume adjustment, which is already, the volume's probably already up. Okay, let's get started. Enter your email. Now, the first thing I noticed, and I suspected that this was happening, and this is my first negative strike for this. This is not the app-based Netflix. This is the web-based. How do I know it's the web-based? Because it is not remote control friendly. You can see the home button across the bottom. I got it. It seems like it's gonna work, but it is not the Android TV version of Netflix. That's not what we're watching here. Like, it's running Android as a back end, but it's running like Chrome OS as the front end, it seems, because all of my logins are all different. Now it does have an air mouse button. So if I push this, then it gives me a mouse so I can mouse around. Feedback is spotty. So if I click on store, okay, so HBO Max, Kodi, Aptoid TV, Nova Video Player, Hulu Prime. Now this isn't gonna give you access to things that you shouldn't have. This is just gonna give you the apps that exist, and you'll still need an account to be able to log in and use them. So updatable, all of these wanna update. I'm gonna turn the mouse off because I think that this works a little bit better. It does support Kodi, which is nice. For those of you old guys who like using Kodi. But I think that the best experience for this would be to plug an Android TV box in. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna grab my Android TV box. Can this auto correct diagonally? Huh, look at that. Now does it fit? No, I am not setting this thing up for success at all. So now you guys see how I wander around here. Let's pull up my real TV box. So I go over here to HDMI. Hopefully my box is on. There we go. Now you know why my box is probably doing 720 is because my old projector doesn't support 720, possibly. So this is at 1080p, 60 hertz. Now the projector says that it will support up to 4K. I think it does 4K 60, but the best I can do is 4K 30. But let's try it and see if it goes there. Look, so it does that, 4K 30. Now it's important to know that the projector, even though it's getting a 4K signal, it's not actually doing 4K because the panel only supports 1080p. So even though I have the box set to 4K, it's being downscaled and then projected at 1080. So I get zero benefit of going 4K with my box versus just matching the signal. So if I go back up to my settings here and I just say, in the settings, you saw that it had one option where it said match the preferred setting. So I'm gonna go display, and I'm gonna say screen resolution, and I'm gonna say auto switch to recommended resolution from TV. So if I flip that, I expect it'll say 1080p 60, which is perfect. What this has done is matched the output from my TV box to what the projector supports. So this is gonna get me the most lag-free, trouble-free experience as far as what we're seeing. Now I can open my Netflix and you'll see the difference between the app here. So right off the bat, it's gonna boot up and it's gonna give me my profiles on the side. I'm gonna pick myself. Now you guys can see as I scroll through here, this is the app-based navigation. So it's all made for just navigating through on a controller. Now what I wanna do is find a movie to watch and just see how it looks because I haven't seen anything yet. So we're gonna hit play on there. I'm gonna turn the volume down and I'm gonna turn the lights off so that we can give this thing its best chance. Now, one thing you guys are gonna notice, the lights are off, but the window is not covered up. But right off the bat, I can say, I'm just having a look, like that looks significantly better than my current projector. I'm extremely, extremely excited about how good this looks. I mean, this is it's an animation, obviously, so animations typically will do better, but there's really no screen door effect. It looks really good. I'm just gonna turn the light back on so you guys can see me, but with the lights off, it looks good. 1100 lumens, I can watch with the lights on, but I don't get the color fidelity. I don't get the brightness that I would like to have. Now, most of the time when I'm watching movies, it's lights off anyway. So I'm not bothered by that. This is not gonna be an all lights on daytime projector. This is gonna be something, but for the price, man, you guys can't beat this for the price. I'm kind of, letting everything out of the bag here, but I can still pull up the menu. It does have the built-in speakers. So I don't have the speaker on right now, but I just wanna let it play for a second. We'll just turn it up and see. This is with the 12-watt internal speaker, but to test the speaker, my Netflix is set up to output Dolby audio, which this is not gonna support. So let's go to VLC, and I think I've got something on a USB stick. Now you see me, now you don't. That seems like a good movie to watch. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Good, we got it. So this is using the 12-watt single speaker. Now, it's loud enough that I can hear it. I would never, ever, ever, ever recommend that you try to watch a movie with the speaker that's on there. So this is a good time to talk about the connectivity. With the Bluetooth, you can actually connect two separate headphones to this thing. And you could sit here and watch your movie with the headphones on and have a full sound stage without disturbing everybody else. Now, in my case, I've got my 7.1 surround sound speaker set up, so I would actually use this the same way I do a traditional projector. I would bypass all of the built-in Android features and use a TV box to control all of my videos and stuff. It doesn't seem like the Android experience is exactly what it's supposed to be. It'll work. You don't need to do this. I'm just talking about what the best option is versus the acceptable option. So as a projector, it lights up, it shows beautifully, setup is amazingly simple. This has so many perks, plus the price is unbelievable. So at the beginning of the video, I asked, is this just e-waste or have I got my new favorite projector? Now, personally, I'm going to actually, as soon as I'm done filming this video, I'm going to take my other projector off the wall, and I'm going to put this one in its place because this projector is absolutely a suitable replacement for my current projector, and I'm going to use it. We did talk about the sound. It's not loud at all. My other projector is louder than this one. This is really, really good in a lot of ways. So I'm excited to get this set up in my final setup. If you guys are interested in this projector, I will put a link in the description to where I grabbed this one from. And if you want to see more projector reviews, I am looking at getting some laser projectors that I can put in the front to really enhance my home theater setup. But for now, this thing is, I mean, man, for the price, you can't beat it. Post in the comments what you wished I had reviewed on this projector or checked out, or if there's other projectors you want me to show you guys, let me know. I'd be happy to show those as well. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.